Hi, 7th graders. So here's what we need to get out for today. You need your book open to page 86. It looks like this. It's section 3, photosynthesis. I'm so excited that we're finally going to learn about photosynthesis. And when I come back on Monday, I even have a little kind of a craft plan for us that kind of models photosynthesis so that it makes a little more sense to us. So before we begin reading, make sure you have this page open with me. I need you to have some highlighters ready because we will be highlighting together. Whatever I highlight, I would like you to also highlight. The other thing that I would like you to have out and ready to use is the worksheets. In other words, our notes, right? So this is what it looks like. It is page 188 in the notes section. At the very top, it says photosynthesis. Okay. After I read the lesson and after we fill out the worksheet, then you will have time to do the homework. The homework page is page 191, and it looks like this. It has photosynthesis at the top, review and reinforce. That will be due on Monday. Please do not fill out the homework while watching this video, as you will be needing to watch this so that you know what to highlight and you know how to fill out the worksheets. All right, go ahead and pause the video and get all of those things ready. Okay, once you're ready, we can begin reading this together. Before we start reading, I love to go over and look at the preview first. How does the sun supply living things with the energy they need? What's really cool about this section is we're actually going to learn that the sun even gives us the energy we need, even though we don't do photosynthesis. Okay, and the next thing we're going to learn is what happens during the process of photosynthesis. We're going to dive in and kind of figure out exactly what's going on. Here are our key terms this week: photosynthesis, autotroph, heterotroph. Hey, we know those ones. Pigment, chlorophyll, we know that too, and stomata. Okay, here we go. Let's start reading. On a plain in Africa, dozens of zebras peacefully eat the grass. But watch out. The zebra's grazing will soon be harshly interrupted. A group of lions is about to attack the herd. The lions will kill one of the zebras and eat it. Both the zebras and the lions use the food that they eat to obtain energy. Every living thing needs energy. All cells need energy to carry out their functions, such as making proteins and transporting substances into and out of the cell. The zebra's meat supplies the lion's cells with the energy they need, just as the grass provides the zebra's cells with energy. But plants and certain other organisms, such as algae and some bacteria, they obtain their energy in a different way. These organisms use the energy in sunlight to make their own food. Sources of energy. The process by which a cell captures energy in sunlight and then uses it to make food is called photosynthesis. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. That's pretty important. The term photosynthesis comes from the Greek word photo, which means light, and synthesis, which means putting together. Nearly all living things obtain energy either directly or indirectly from energy of the sunlight. That's why I said over here at the beginning that we kind of, in a way, somehow get our energy also from the sun. And here's why I say that. All living things can either get their energy directly or indirectly from the sun. Grass obtains the energy directly from the sunlight because it makes its own food during photosynthesis. When the zebra then eats that grass, the zebra is getting its energy that it has been stored in the grass. Similarly, the lion then obtains energy stored from the zebra. The zebra and the lion both obtain the sun's energy indirectly. Indirectly, you guys, means like Obviously, it's like the opposite of directly, right? But it means like very trickled down from the chain of command. Now, I want to show you, you guys don't have this, but these are the notes that I had my students fill out last year. And I kept it around because I thought that it kind of showed a pretty good way of how this is working, right? So don't make fun of me. These are my drawings from last year. But here's how this works. Here's the sun. This is a plant. The plant is getting its energy directly from the sun. And then here's a cute little grasshopper, right? Grasshopper is going to eat the plant. The grasshopper is getting its energy indirectly from the sun because there's kind of a middleman in there, right? But like technically in a weird way, he's still getting energy from the sun. And then here comes a mousey. He's so cute. He's going to eat the grasshopper who ate the leaf, who it got its energy from the sun. So way indirectly, the mouse got its energy from the sun, right? And then here comes a little slithery snake. He eats the mouse, who ate the grasshopper, who ate the leaf, who got its energy from the sun. So way indirectly, the snake also got its energy from the sun. The plant is an autotroph. It gets its energy directly from the sun. Everything else is a heterotroph. They get their energy indirectly from the sun. Okay, sorry. Back to this. When the zebra, okay, we're right here. Boop, boop, boop. Plants manufacture their own food through the process of photosynthesis. An organism that makes its own food, we know this, you guys, we know this. An organism that makes its own food is called an autotroph. An organism that cannot make its own food, including animals such as zebras and lions, is called a heterotroph. Many heterotrophs obtain food by eating other organisms. Some heterotrophs, such as fungi, they absorb their food from other organisms. I want to go back up and look at this picture. It's kind of cool. This, in a sense, is kind of like a much nicer way of what I drew over here. This picture is showing we have the sunshine. The sun is the source of energy for most living things because they all get their energy either directly or indirectly. Plants, such as the grass, use energy from the sun to make their food. Zebras obtain the energy by eating that grass. And then lions eat the zebra who ate the grass who got the energy from the sun. So in a strange way, we are all getting energy from the sun, just indirectly. Interesting, right? Here's some more pictures. Oh, that's nice and gory. Look at that. They even gave us a nice little blood spurt. Okay. Autotrophs and heterotrophs. Grass, which makes its own food during photosynthesis, is an autotroph. Zebras and lions are heterotrophs because they cannot make their own food. Okay, we're about to come to the next red heading, which means I would like us to go now to the worksheet and see what we can fill in. So this first box says, as you read, create a flow chart that shows the steps in photosynthesis. So we haven't talked about the steps of photosynthesis yet, so we're going to skip this part. We're going to go down to sources of energy. In the process of photosynthesis, plants use the energy in blank to make food. Plants use the energy in. That seems like a strange way of saying, like, don't you think it should say, in the process of photosynthesis, plants use the energy from the sun? That's kind of interesting to me. In the process of photosynthesis, plants use the energy from the sun to make food. Weird. Complete the following table about how living things use the sun's energy. Okay, so we have grass, zebra, and lion. Those are the living things. We have autotroph or heterotroph. And then, does it obtain energy from the sun directly or indirectly? Well, I know grass uses photosynthesis, so it is an autotroph. And if it's an autotroph, that means it's getting its energy directly from the sun. The zebra eats the grass, which means the zebra has to go get its own food, which means it's a heterotroph. And if the zebra is eating the grass, which got its energy from the sun, this would be happening indirectly then. And the same thing about the lion. It's a heterotroph. It's getting its energy indirectly. All right, let's go back to the 2 stages of photosynthesis. Okay, there's 2 stages of photosynthesis. Photosynthesis is a complex process. There's a lot going on, you guys. This is like the simplified version, okay? During photosynthesis, plants and some other organisms use energy from the sun to convert carbon dioxide and water into oxygen and sugar. So, hey, let me make this mathematical for you. We're going to make it mathematical in a second, but here's what we got going on. Carbon dioxide, we know, can be written as CO2, right? And water, we know that can be written as H2O. Plants need both of these things. When plants get both of these things, they produce something. They produce oxygen, which is O2, and sugar, which you're actually going to learn what the sugar abbreviation is. I believe it's like C6H12. Oh gosh, I'll have to keep reading to remember it. But let's keep reading this. This is actually pretty interesting how it turns out to be kind of like a math equation, okay? The process of photosynthesis is shown in figure 14. You can think of photosynthesis as taking place in 2 stages. Here's the first stage. I'm going to go ahead and box it because I think it's kind of important. The first is capturing the sun's energy and then producing sugars. Oop. Capturing the sun's energy is the first step. Producing sugars is the next step, okay? You're probably familiar with many 2-stage processes. For example, to make a cake, the first stage is to combine the ingredients to make the batter. The second stage is to bake the batter. To get the desired result, which is a cake, both stages must occur in the correct order. Stage 1, capturing the sun's energy. The first stage of photosynthesis involves capturing the energy in sunlight. In plants, this energy capturing process occurs mostly in the leaves. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that a different color. I think that's really important. Oh, I'm even going to use green because leaves are green. How cute. Recall when we were learning about cells that chloroplasts are the green organelles that are inside plant cells. The green color comes from pigments. I'm going to highlight that. The green color is coming from things called pigments. Pigments, colored chemical compounds that absorb light. The main photosynthetic pigment in chloroplast is chlorophyll. Okay. Chlorophyll functions in a manner similar to that of the solar cells in a solar-powered calculator. Solar cells capture the energy in the light, and they use it to power the calculator. Similarly, chlorophyll captures light energy, but uses it to power the second stage of photosynthesis. This is a really cool picture. So here's our little leaf, right? The leaf is green because of pigments inside the chloroplasts called chlorophyll, okay? So here's an image under a microscope of the chloroplasts. And let me go and read this to you. It says photosynthesis has 2 stages, as shown in this diagram. Stage 1, chloroplasts, which are these little beans, in plant cells capture the energy from sunlight. So step 1, they capture it, okay? Let's go ahead and read about step 2. It's on this side. Stage 2, using energy to make food. In the second stage of photosynthesis, the cell uses the captured energy to produce sugars. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that. In the second stage of photosynthesis, the cell uses the captured energy to produce sugars. The cell needs 2 raw materials for this stage. The cell needs water, which it gets from the roots, right? And it needs carbon dioxide, which it gets from the air. In plants, the roots absorb the water from the soil. The water then moves up these roots to the stems and then to the leaves. Carbon dioxide is one of the gases in the air, like right now. Carbon dioxide enters the plant through a small opening on the underside of the leaves. These are called stomatas. Small openings on the undersides of the leaves. Once in the leaves, the water and the carbon dioxide move into the chloroplasts, those little green things. Once they're inside the chloroplasts, the water and the carbon dioxide undergo a complex series of chemical reactions. The reactions are powered by the energy that was captured from the first stage. These reactions produce chemicals as products, and one of the products is a sugar that has 6 carbons. These 6 carbon sugars have this chemical formula. Here it is. This is what I was trying to remember. I knew it was coming up. C6H12O6. That, my friends, is a chemical equation for sugar. Recall that sugars are a type of carbohydrate. Cells can use that energy from the sugar to carry out the important cell functions. The other product of photosynthesis is oxygen. This is super important too, so plants help get oxygen into the atmosphere for us. These oxygens exit the leaf through the stomata. That's pretty important. The stomata is a really important part of the leaf. In fact, almost all the oxygen in Earth's atmosphere was produced by living things through the process of photosynthesis. I'm going to go back to this page real quick. I want to read stage 2 now. Stage 2. The captured light energy is used to produce sugars and oxygen from the water and carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide goes in through the stomatas. They're so tiny you can barely see them. It goes into the stomatas. Water goes up the roots. And here's the result. Sugars produced are used by that plant cell for the energy and comes out of the stomata, oxygen. Oh, look at that stomata. There it is. Okay. Let's go ahead and go back to our notes real quick, see what we can fill out. List the 2 stages in the process of photosynthesis. Stage 1. Stage 2. All right, in stage 1 of photosynthesis, back up here. Boop. Perfect. Chloroplasts in the plant cells capture energy from sunlight. I'm going to go ahead, since we don't have a whole lot of space here, I'm going to say plant capture energy from sunlight. Okay, and then in step 2, the captured light energy is used to produce sugar and oxygen from the water and the carbon dioxide. Okay, so we're going to say plant produces sugars and oxygen. You guys cool if we just put O2 for oxygen? Okay. The green pigment in chloroplast is called chlorophyll. Wow, I don't know if I spelled that right. You know what? We're going to go back and look. CHLORO, so it's chlorophyll. I miss some O's. PHYLL. Woohoo. Chlorophyll. Chlorophyll is inside the chloroplast. The chloroplasts are green with the pigments, and then that's what makes the sun kind of absorb into that. Is the following sentence true or false? Besides the energy in sunlight, the cells need water and carbon dioxide to make sugar. That is definitely true. What are stomatas? Stomatas are the little itty bitty openings underneath the leaves And that allows the carbon dioxide to go in and the oxygen to go out. If you want to find like the actual word, let me see here. Stomata, there you are. Oh, up here. Small openings on the undersides of the leaves. Oh, silly me. Okay. Before we go on to this next section, I want to show you those notes again that I drew last year, because I know they're kind of silly looking. But here's what I drew last year. Stages of photosynthesis. Stage 1, capturing the sun's energy. That is stage 1. This is a chloroplast. It is full of chlorophyll. It is green because of pigments, okay? Now, because it's pigmented with green chlorophyll, it absorbs and captures sun's energy. Stage 2. Do you like my pictures? Okay, so here's a little planty plant, right? Here's its little roots. What is going up the roots? See the little blue? Boop, 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 boop. That's water. H2O goes up through the roots. CO2, which is carbon dioxide, goes in through the stomata. So I need two things. I need carbon dioxide and water. Here's that equation I was talking about. CO2 plus H2O, so carbon dioxide and water, plus the sunlight is going to equal sugar and oxygen, okay? It's a nice little mathematical equation. Let's go back to your worksheets. Circle the letter of each product of photosynthesis. Now remember, product means like what you get out of it, right? So remember, I need CO2 plus H2O plus sunlight. Now those are not the products. Those are what we need. It will equal oxygen and sugar. Those are the products. So let's go over here and check that out. Water? No. Carbon dioxide? No. Oxygen? Heck yeah. Sugar? Yes. Is the following sentence true or false? Photosynthesis produces the carbon dioxide that most living things need to survive. I don't know about you guys, but we don't really need carbon dioxide. That's what we exhale, right? I think the better answer here would have been oxygen. Okay, so this is definitely false. Hey, look at this, number 9. We just did this. Write the chemical equation for the process of photosynthesis. Okay, first of all, what's going up the roots? H2O. What's going through the stomata? Carbon dioxide. And then what is the chlorophyll absorbing? Sunlight. Okay, so those are the 3 things you need. Then what do you get out of it? You get oxygen and sugar. Now, I don't know if we can remember this, but can we remember the sugar? Sugar was C6H12O6. That's the chemical equation for sugar. Now, guys, this next question is going to kind of call me out here for a second because I used an equal sign. But if you look back in the book, boop, we're going to read this next, okay? Let's go ahead and read, and then we'll go answer that question. Here's the photosynthesis equation. The events in photosynthesis can be summed up by the following chemical equation. Carbon dioxide plus water plus light energy is going to give us sugar and oxygen, right? Now, I want you to see this arrow right here, okay? It's going to tell us what that means here in a second. Notice that the raw materials are 6 molecules of carbon and 6 molecules of water. That's on the left side of the equation. Now, the products, the things you get out of it, you get 1 molecule of sugar and 6 molecules of oxygen. They're on the right. And the arrow, which you can see, reads as yields, which means it connects the raw materials to the products, which, I don't understand why they don't just say like it equals, but that arrow just means that's what you're gonna get from it, okay? In like most basic terms. The book, however, wants us to use the word yields. Wow, I am on fire tonight with my spelling. What does the arrow in the chemical equation stand for? It stands for the word yields, but then I also wanted us to put it in our, common sense terms. It means this is what you get, or what it equals, okay? That's what that arrow means. Okay, circle the letter of each raw material of photosynthesis. Now, raw material, let's go back. The raw materials are the things you needed, okay? These were the things we needed. Except for I don't think they included light energy in that. I'll read it again. On the left side of the equation are the raw materials, 6 molecules of carbon and 6 molecules of water. That's what the raw materials are. Apparently sunlight's not a raw material. So, is carbon dioxide what we need? Yes. Is glucose what we need? No, it's what we make. Is water what we need? Yes. Boom, boom. How about oxygen? No, that's what we make. So when you see raw materials, that means what do we need? When you see products up here, products, that's what we get, okay? Okay, I'm going to keep reading this. What happens to the sugar produced in photosynthesis then? Plant cells use some of the sugar for food. That's important. The cells break down those sugar molecules to release the energy they contain. This energy can then be used to carry out the plant's functions, like, growing, surviving. Some sugar molecules then are converted into other compounds, such as cellulose. Other sugar molecules may be stored in the plant cells for later use. When you eat food from plants, such as potatoes or carrots, you're eating the plant's stored energy. Haha, there you have it. Nice little short section, isn't it? Let's go back to the notes. Circle the letter for each sentence that is true about the products of photosynthesis. Plant cells use the sugar for food. Yeah. Some of the sugars is made into other compounds, such as cellulose. Yeah. Some of the sugar is stored in the plant cells for later use. Yeah. Extra sugar molecules pass out of the plant through the stomata. I don't know about that one. No. Sugar molecules are not going through the stomata, you guys. The things that are coming out of the stomata are the oxygen that we breathe. So yeah, D's not it. All right, you little sweet children. That is the end of our lesson. That was a pretty quick one, wasn't it? We can go back and fill this out. I'm looking at the time. Steps in photosynthesis. The sunlight strikes the leaf. The chlorophyll captures the light energy. And then what? Water goes up the stem. CO2, which is carbon dioxide, goes through the stomata. And then do you guys want to use an arrow to show what it yields? Look at us using our science words. It yields oxygen and sugar. But if you want to be a big kid about it, you could see that C6, H12O6. Okay, wonderful. We have our notes finished. We have the section read. That means your job is to do this for homework. And hey, look what the first question is. Go ahead and tell me what each of those things are in the equation, which we literally just filled out right there. Okay, so this homework page will be due on Monday. Bye, guys.